StrayCat74 here. Welcome to my Basement of Solitude. Today, we're going to be playing with guns. Well, one gun in particular. This is the Colt Combat Commander 1911. It's a 45 ACP, and yes, it is clear. There is no magazine in the gun. As you can see, chamber is clear. The specific thing we're going to be doing with this today is attaching a carbine conversion unit from MechTech. I picked this up a little bit less than full retail with a couple of options on it. Before we can do that, we need to pull the pin, keep this handy, we're going to need it. Remove the slide, make sure your parts don't go flying everywhere, because this is the only part we're going to use. Now, for what we're going to do, have the hammer back. You don't have to have the safety on, because, well, you're not going to be pulling the trigger on this. Not immediately, anyway. So then, we pull out this. This is the MechTech Carbine Conversion Unit. This has the welded-on wire stock. Well, it's not quite wire, but it comes default with a 6-inch rail on the top. You can choose to get the muzzle brake or not. And this is pretty much the whole thing. Now, it does not lock back on last round fired, but it does have a secure notch to lock the thing open. So what we do is pull this back and push in on the knob. Then we take our pistol with the hammer back, place it here, more or less. Actually, usually have to look at it. Yeah, now it doesn't want to go because the camera's rolling. Go figure that one out. I did this like 15 times here a minute ago. There we go. And it just slides right on. Then we take our pin, put it back through that hole, and lock it in place. Now we have a carbine. This is an NC Star red dot scope. I had it laying around not doing anything. I figured, what the hell? Fingers off the trigger. We know the chamber's clear. Let me see if I can get this without knocking my wax over here. So we see the notch right here. This slides back and pushes in to lock it open. That locks the chamber back and clear. Now we grab inspection light. Oh, that's laser. That's light. You should be able to see into the chamber there. It is clear and open. Might be easier doing this. Yeah, see? Because I don't want people coming back and saying, you're doing it wrong. Now, converting it back to a pistol. Well, technically it still is a pistol. The pistol frame is where the serial number is. It is a pistol. Thank you very much, ATF. To get it back apart, push here, well, lift up and then push on here to get that to come out. It helps if you have thumbnails. I really don't have thumbnails because I keep chewing them off or breaking them. Pull, set aside. Now this is a very delicate, very precise operation. You don't want to do this wrong. Make sure this is locked back. Grab your pistol grip and pull. Done. And then you reassemble your pistol. Now, For those people with extended safeties, you might have to curtail them to get it to work with the system, because it's right up against this tube here. And there's not really a lot of room for something to stick up. The beaver tail safety on the grip is wonderful. However, it does get in the way if you need to decock the carbine. But since this is my primary sidearm, and I have big, fat, meaty hands, I keep the beaver tail on there. I spent a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 strokes of the file to fit the beaver tail safety. If you look very closely, you can see what a crappy job I did of pulling the pin, because I scratched up here a little bit, which is not good on a pistol that is 35 or 40 years old. Yeah, my dad bought this new shortly after we moved to Connecticut, where he was stationed at the sub base. So, reassemble pistol. I don't want to hear from the purists that say I'm doing it wrong. It works for me. That's all that matters. I-ring down. Slide it back in. Line it up. There it goes. Harder to do when you're trying to look at the camera and not at what you're doing. No magazine, remember, so it will not lock back. And that's how you convert a 1911 to a carbine. Now, if you already have the 1911, great, you're golden. You already have magazines, you already have ammo. By putting it in one of these, you increase the muzzle velocity by a couple of 100 feet per second. You add accuracy, and you can almost double your effective range. With pistol, you're not going to be firing more than 100 yards. With this, you can make 100-yard shots. With some practice. It does take practice. You're firing a great big goddamn bullet. That is a wrecking ball when it hits. Out to 100. I've heard of people bragging about making 150-yard shots. I think it's exactly that, bragging. But for up close and personal, red dot scope, those things go for, well, the cheap ones like NC Star start at like 40 to 50 bucks. You can go as expensive as you want, like with an EO Tech that will cost more than my pistol, or cheap bastards like me, find them at a yard sale. Because people don't know how to use these damn things. Also, if you're very lackadaisical, you leave this switch on. I've replaced this battery 3 times because I forget. So, anyway, MechTech Carbine Conversion Unit. They are at MechTechSystems.com. Well, just type into Google MechTech, one word, MECHTECH, MechTech. Yeah, I'm horrible with spelling. Sorry about that. That's what public education did for me. Now, it's only like 3 degrees outside, or else I'd offer to take this outside and actually shoot it for you, because I haven't shot it yet. So, I also don't have a dedicated camera. We're using the camera on my laptop. Yeah, donate me some money, I'll buy a better camera. Thank you. Stray Cat 74 and the Basement of Solitude. Thank you for watching. Say when? Okay. Safety off. Firing home.
It has the unmistakable boing of the spring back here, so recoil ain't bad. About what you'd expect for a 45. I'm very happy.